Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Director Chopra, an American Banker article dated December 10, 2021, entitled "Dust Up at FDIC Portends Bigger Fight Over Bank Regulation," describes an 8-page internal CFPB memo containing detailed legal analysis of the legal authority of the FDIC. The problem is this legal analysis is exempt from disclosure under FOIA, meaning that the CFPB's own confidentiality rules prohibit its release. In fact, the only way it can lawfully be released on the CFPB's own rules is with your personal written authorization. So my question is, did you, Director, personally authorize the release of this memo to the reporters?
Did I personally release?
Did you personally authorize the release of this memo?
Yes, I'm happy to provide it to you as well.
Right.
We do think that this is an important rule of law issue. What we saw at the FDIC was frankly pretty astounding. I have never witnessed.
Let me claim my time, Mr. Chopra. Retain
yes.
my client. We're going to request a copy of that authorization that you sent. If you're willing to release legal internal analysis for political and press purposes, then it is not, as you have described in responses to this committee, protected by the deliberative process and attorney-client privileges. Furthermore, if it can be released, because we've asked you about this before, we haven't got that information, but suddenly you're able to release it to the press, but not to us. Very concerned about that. We're going to be sending you a letter requesting the production of all internal legal analysis relating to your recent decision to assert that the UDAP can be used to address allegedly discriminatory conduct outside of ECOA. If you provide this material, hopefully without delay.
So to be very clear, the legal analysis related to the FDIC was shared with the FDIC.
That's
and
not
others.
what I'm asking, Mr.
No. I just want to
Chopra.
make that clear because it was not just selectively shared. It was shared with other agencies as well.
Well, we didn't share.
We were not able to get
Mr. Chopra,
any
retaining my
legal
time.
explanation. Yes, sir.
You didn't share it with the committee. That's the point I'm trying to make.
I will look into this.
And
we will work.
We want to know if you're going to give us the information that led up to the decision and all the legal analysis that went with it. You're going to offer those papers to us?
We will work with your staff to make sure we are responsive to getting the analysis about the FDIC and can discuss other topics as well.
Okay.
The FDIC legal situation was a severe crisis.
Crisis was occurred by you, Mr. Chopra.
I disagree with that.
I'm reclaiming my time. I have another question for you. Yesterday, in front of the Senate Banking Committee, you stated the CFPB General Counsel and OCC General Counsel were the individuals who worked on this memo that I just referenced a minute ago. Did the OCC General Counsel agree with the conclusions laid out in the memo?
You'd have to ask the OCC that. It's not my place to say what the OCC thinks. What I shared was that it was a major discussion across all the board
yesterday,
members
Mr.
about
Chopra,
the
Director
legal
Chopra, yesterday in the Senate Banking Committee, you indicated that the OCC and the CFPB General Counsel worked on that memo together. You're not aware of that?
I don't believe that. What I said was that the legal issues were discussed across the agencies because never before has there been the level of stonewalling about what the legal authority was. Typically, you can look at the bylaws, look at the statute.
Claim my time, Mr. Chopra. Considering the CFPB General Counsel led the effort to create this memo that was improperly leaked to the press, and it resulted the CFPB staff working on an issue related to FDIC bylaws, which is well beyond statutory authority of CFPB. Will you make your general counsel available to the committee staff for a transcribed interview regarding this internal memo?
I don't know what you're referring to in terms of the general counsel, but we are happy to work with you and your staff to make sure you know all the details.
Okay, so you're willing to allow your general counsel to sit down with us, Mr. Staff?
No, I'm not going to make those commitments. I don't know what you're referring to on this, but we will work with you.
We're returning to the memo that you discussed with the Senate yesterday, and we just discussed a minute ago.
So we will provide, and we have already provided substantial information to so many people about what the FDIC's legal authority is, where the dispute was.
Claiming my time, Mr. Chopra.
We will continue to work with you to be responsive.
Thank you for helping us with that, hopefully. Recently my colleagues and I sent you 2 letters, one regarding your statements on honorary possessions and the other one on so-called junk fees, which I would argue much of your regulations are becoming junk regulations. The request for information. Both of those letters asked common sense questions about statements and actions of the Bureau. In both responses you sent to my office, you failed to answer any of those questions. So because you refuse to answer that, I have sent with Ranking Member McHenry and Oversight Chairman, Ranking Member Emmer, 2 other letters just this morning demanding that you preserve all internal documents related to those actions. Will you obey those requests or to retain those documents?
We will be compliant with all applicable laws, and we will make sure that we work with you to make sure you understand.
Okay, I'm asking
Gentleman's
for
time
you
has
to
expired.
comply with our request to retain those documents.
Gentleman's time has expired. The gentleman from Florida.
We have I believe we've already responded on that.
No, you
gentleman's
did not.
time-
You did not
Okay,
respond.
well, I will check into and we will respond if we have not
Okay,
responded.
thank you.
The gentleman from Florida, Mr. Lawson, is now